I want to start off by saying I'm sorry to the victims, family, and the cause of their death of their family member. I'm sorry for all my actions that took in this place and in this courtroom.
A quiet Fond du Lac apartment complex, the kind where family barbecues end with laughter and leftover plates. But on May 7th, 2023, as 20-year-old Tatyanna Zek stepped out to toss the trash, shadows stirred in a nearby hallway. Two teens, fueled by a petty social media spat over a gold chain, lurked with guns drawn, waiting for their target. Words fly, shots erupt. A stray bullet finds Tatyanna, stealing her life in an instant. Parise Larry Jr., 14, and Antonio Johnston, 17, flee into the night. But as grief grips her family and the courtroom beckons, apologies flow and pleas beg for mercy. Would their youth shield them from the storm, or would the judge's gavel crash down like thunder? Brace yourself. This tale will grip your soul, leaving you questioning if justice can ever mend the broken. A young lady's blood spills on concrete. Teens' regrets echo in court. Dare you face the truth? Subscribe now to unravel this nightmare. Hit the bell so you never miss the next heart-wrenching twist. The fuse ignites in Fond du Lac's Maplewood Commons, a place of everyday routines but shadowed by teen rivalries that simmer like hidden embers. Parise Larry Jr., 14, flaunts a gold chain on Instagram Live, only for Keyshawn Johnson to mock it online, sparking back-and-forth taunts that escalate from words to weapons. May 7th, 2023, Tatyanna, fresh from a family cookout, walks with a group including Johnson to the dumpster. Unseen eyes watch from a hallway. Larry and Johnston, guns ready, spot their target. Tension crackles as stares lock across the parking lot. Words hurl like sparks. "You're always bullying. Come bully me now." The air thickens, then explodes in gunfire. Johnston unleashes 10 rounds. Larry adds 3. Johnson fires back once. Bullets fly wild. A father-son duo inside their apartment hit by strays. Johnson wounded. But Tatyanna, a single bullet to the head ends her world. She collapses, life slipping away on the pavement. The teens bolt, dump guns near a school, vanish into the city. Days crawl. Larry turns self-in. Johnston flees to Chicago, arrested months later. Charges loom. First-degree intentional homicide, attempted homicide, reckless injury, endangering safety, firearm possession under 18. The courtroom awaits, where truths collide and fates hang by a thread.
January 2025. Johnston, facing the noose, flips, pleads guilty to 8 charges, agrees to testify against Larry for leniency. October 2025 trial. Larry claims self-defense, Johnson fired first, but Johnston takes the stand, his words a knife in the back.
I want to start off by saying I'm sorry to the victims, family, and the cause of their death of their family member. I'm sorry for all my actions that took in this place and in this courtroom. I don't really know what to say. I done lost a lot of my family members in crossfire, so I know how I feel, and I'm gonna take responsibility for everything that's in this case. And I just want to say sorry to my family and to their family. Hope everybody could forgive me or what my actions took. And that's it.
First, I just want to say thank you, Your Honorable Judge Lavey, for allowing me to address the court on my behalf. And as you may see, my family is not here in person to give a verbal statement on my behalf, but I just want to say first, I want to give my deepest and sincere condolences to the entire Zek family or anybody else that has been harmed, and that includes friends, family, distant friends, everyone who has been harmed in any type of way, shape, or form by this tragedy that occurred on May 7, 2023. I am so very sorry. I never intended to harm Tatyanna Zek, and I'm so sorry that she has lost her life.
You can take a moment. You have the floor until you tell me you're done.
I'm sorry. I'm not here in front of you with a piece of paper that everything could be fabricated about. I am speaking genuinely from the heart, and I understand that you have a job to do today. I just hope that you could be lenient enough and allow me to be released at or after the 20-year mark. I know you don't have any obligations to do so, but I really assure you that the time being spent in the Fond du Lac County Jail and my future would be in any prison or maximum facility, that I will be well rehabilitated and that I will grow as a man, and I am learning and I have learned from my mistakes. And I just beg you, please just give me another chance to show that I am worth it and that I am not a disgrace to society and I am not a menace to society. Please just know that I am sorry from the bottom to the top of my heart. And I know sorry's not gonna bring Tatyanna back. I know sorry's not gonna pay the price that needs to be paid. I know me asking for forgiveness isn't gonna come with overnight. And I know justice needs to be brought forth so that Tatyanna's life being taken away from her has been brought to justice.
The suspense mounts as pleas pour out. Larry's raw, sorry, lost family in crossfire. Johnston's tearful, deepest condolences, give me a chance at 20 years. Words hang heavy, begging mercy. But cross-examination waits like a trap. Johnston on stand, defense grills. His story shifted after prosecutor talks.
Have you been sentenced in your case yet?
No.
And are you hoping that as a result of this, the judge may take your potential cooperation into consideration?
Yes.
So I want to talk a bit about May 7th of 2023. Were you personally involved in shooting a firearm in that incident?
Yes.
And were you shooting at someone?
Yes.
And who were you shooting at?
Keyshawn Johnson.
Were there any just yes or no words exchanged between anybody, Keyshawn Johnson and your group? And what did the defendant say to Keyshawn Johnson?
You're always trying to bully somebody. Come bully me now.
And where was the defendant when he said that?
Inside the hallway.
And where was Keyshawn Johnson?
Approximately inside the parking lot.
Was Keyshawn Johnson saying anything to you?
Yes.
And how did you respond to what Keyshawn Johnson was saying to you?
I told him that you're always trying to bully somebody. Come bully somebody your side. I told him for a second time that you're always trying to bully somebody. Come take something from me. That was referred to a chain.
And where did you go at this point?
And out of the building.
Did anybody else shoot their gun from or shoot a gun from your group?
Yes.
And when did that other individual that fired shoot in relation to when you did?
I believe simultaneously.
And why do you say simultaneously or believe that?
From the back of my head, I kind of felt pressure.
The tension peaks as Johnston squirms, admitting initial Johnson fired first, but now I fired first, felt threatened.
Now, in your meeting with Mr. Tony and the detectives, you told them that while you were standing outside, it was Keyshawn Johnson who fired first, right?
Yes, I believed he fired first.
Because you believe that to be the truth, right?
Yes.
But that didn't match the truth that the prosecutor wanted you to say, right?
Correct.
And so they showed you the video again, right?
Yes.
But in the video, you couldn't see Johnson's hand, could you?
in the video I couldn't.
And you told them, you're not looking at it from my perspective, right?
Correct.
From where you were standing, you could see that Keyshawn Johnson had a gun out, right?
Yes.
And so that was when you raised your pistol, right?
Yes.
Keyshawn Johnson fired first.
No, I fired first. I just felt that he was threatening my life.
Tell us exactly what he was doing that led you to believe he was threatening your life.
He was walking toward me, and I told him not to walk toward me, and that demeanor with the expression on his face and how he was carrying himself, like he was some type of macho man, or just like he was gonna strong arm me for whatever, after I told him to take the chain from me because I was older than Parise and I was stronger than Parise. So when Keyshawn approached me and I told him to stop and he didn't, I seen him take a gun from his waistband and he was going to raise it in my direction, and I discharged my firearm.
In fact, what you said to Keyshawn Johnson was, if you take another step, you're going to force my hand.
Yes.
What does that mean?
You're gonna force me to do something I didn't want to do.
And Keyshawn Johnson took more than one step toward you, right?
Yes.
Which led you to believe he was going to harm you if he could.
Yes.
That's why you fired.
Yes.
The only reason you fired is because he was moving toward you.
Yes.
And you reasonably believed it was because he was going to attempt to rob you of the necklace, right?
Yes.
Defense presses. Changed after prosecutors showed video? His words waver, leading to the verdict's edge. Trial wraps, jury out, families brace, teens wait in the shadows. Then the call. Verdict in.
Right, I will now read the verdicts. We, the jury, find the defendant Parise Larry guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as a party to a crime as charged in count 9 of the information, dated the 17th day of October 2025 and signed by the foreperson. If you find the defendant guilty, answer the following questions, yes or no. Did the defendant commit the crime of first-degree intentional homicide as a party to a crime while using a dangerous weapon? Yes.
The raw grief surges as victims' families speak. Tatyanna's stepmom, sister, mother pour out pain.
Your Honor, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my thoughts regarding the case involving the boys responsible for the death of my stepdaughter, Tatyanna. Tatyanna was more than a victim in a case. She was a vibrant, beloved part of our lives, and her absence has created a pain that will never truly leave us. I understand that they are young, and I know the court must consider that. But youth does not erase the gravity of what was done. Their choices were deliberate, and consequences of those choices will be carried by our family for the rest of our lives. Accountability matters, not from a place of revenge, but from a place of justice, responsibility, and the hope that no one else will be harmed in the future. I ask the court to consider the depth of our loss, the lasting impact on our family, and the seriousness of their actions when determining an appropriate sentence. Nothing can bring her back, but we hope for a decision that honors her life, acknowledges our pain, and reflects the value of the life that was taken.
You robbed her of life. No man should ever have that choice. She was ripped away from me 3 months before her 21st. To you, that's just a small celebration, but to us, it was a step towards her new life. She would have wanted me to let God handle it, but it's hard believing in him when people like you exist. You don't deserve to know anyone like her ever in your life. My sister was my protector, and on that day that you decided to kill her, I wasn't here to protect her. You took her life away. You took a piece of me away. I want her to haunt you for as long as you live your pathetic life. I hope you are never able to rest, as I cannot. You're a piece of shit, honestly. Straight from the bottom of hell. I genuinely don't care what you've ever been through in life to make you take anyone else's. My sister had been through hell and back, and she never once in her life picked up a gun and shot someone. She will be more important in death than you will ever be your whole life. She will be remembered by generations of our family, and when you die, you will be forgotten with the rest of your scumbag family. When I got the news, I was at work, and my little sister called me, bawling her eyes out. And when she told me, I didn't believe it, because there's no way my older sister, the protector, was killed by a bunch of pussies. I couldn't understand. I laughed in delusion for the entire 3-hour car ride to see my sister. You seen her the last time she was alive, so I'm gonna ask you this. Was she still beautiful? Was her hair in those 2 puff ponytails that she always wear? What did her body look like as she hit the ground? Did she yell? These are questions I'll never have the answers to because I was 3 hours away. I cannot ask Tati because she's not here anymore. Because of you, she'll never have that family that she dreamt about forever. We can't be roommates how we planned. I just graduated, and we were going to live together very soon.
Thank you, Ms. Zek.
My name is Nicole Zek, and I am the mother of Tatyanna Zek. Before her life was stolen from us, Tatyanna was a bright light in this world. She was a talented hairstylist. She truly had one of the biggest hearts and would help anyone. I ask that when you consider the sentencing for these young men, you truly consider the magnitude of the life that was taken and the vast, dark void that was left behind. We ask for a sentence that reflects the severity of our loss and the brightness of the light that they extinguished. Thank you for allowing me to share my daughter's story and our pain.
The air crackles with anguish. Sisters' rage haunt you forever, forgotten with your scumbag family. Mother's plea, magnitude of loss, sentence reflects it. Words like daggers. But Larry's family counters with mercy begs.
Truth be told, I'm sorry for the loss of their family. And though emotion took over everybody, I sincerely apologize for my brother's actions. Words can't explain my emotions. Sometimes I feel mad, but then I know how the other family feel about losing somebody that can't come back. But truth be told, I lost the bone with my brother that would never be brought back to me. I'm truly sorry to their family, but Your Honor, I hope you please take into consideration that he has a family too, just like everyone else.
Thank you, ma'am.
A life was taken, a life that deeply mattered, and nothing I can say today can undo that. My heart was with them, and I hold their grief in the forefront of my mind as I speak. Your Honor, my nephew is a juvenile, still a child in so many ways. This does not excuse the terrible outcome of this situation. It is devastating and one that has permanently changed multiple families. He is responsible for a role played in this tragedy, and as a family, we are not here to deny or soften that. Since this tragedy, I have seen a change in him that is painful but honest. He is remorseful, not in a surface level way, but deeply and genuinely. He knows what happened, and he knows what it cost. And he has not once tried to run from that truth. He carries the weight of it every day, and I have seen him cry, break down, and ask himself how he let his life and someone else's life fall into this kind of tragedy. He has said many times that if he could take it back, he would, and that is accountability. It is painful, but it is real. Your Honor, I'm not asking for him to be excused. I'm asking for mercy alongside accountability, for a sentence that holds him responsible, but does not erase the possibility of growth.
And I stand before you today carrying a heavy heart. I want to begin by acknowledging the unimaginable loss of a young girl's life. A family is living with the pain that can never be undone, and nothing I say is meant to lessen that grief. I am here because I love my best friend, Parise, and because I know he is more than the worst moment of his life. When this happened, Parise was only 14 years old. 14 is still a child. Someone who is still learning how to think, how to cope, how to understand consequences, and how to survive in a world that can be confusing and dangerous. At that age, children act out of fear, influence, and immaturity, not from a fully formed sense of judgment. Parise is also disabled, which makes his story even more heartbreaking. His disability affects the way he processes stress, danger, and pressure in moments of fear. He did not have the tools or capacity that others might have had. This does not excuse what happened, but it helps explain how vulnerable he truly was. He was a child trying to navigate circumstances far beyond his ability to understand or control. What breaks my heart most is knowing that one terrible moment could erase every chance he had. He has to grow into the person he still has the potential to become. He is still capable of change, healing, and responsibility. He deserves a chance to grow under guidance, not to be defined forever by a mistake made as a child.
The suspense thickens as pleas clash. He's a child. Give growth. But prosecutor dismantles with jail misdeeds.
The court is confronted with a defendant who is sitting in custody, waiting for trial on the most serious charges one can be waiting to experience, and that's first-degree intentional homicide, attempted homicide, and a sexual assault case, which he has not resolved, and I'm not suggesting that the court should take it into consideration for that reason, other than he was in custody for that as well, and we see the conduct reports for the defendant while in jail. February 20th of 2024, where he was in the school area and appeared to reach towards the vaginal area of another juvenile female who pushed him away. Another incident of sexual conduct the very next day, February 21st of 2024. Staff noted the disruptive conduct of the defendant showing his penis to another juvenile through his cell window on 2 separate occasions, and then provided false information to staff about his actions. June 16th of 2024, there was the disruptive conduct, and the staff noted gang activity where the defendant was in the visitor area with his sister, and photos were taken of the defendant where he had his shirt off, wrapped around his head and lower face, leaving his eyes visible, and throwing up gang signs with both hands. August 7th of 2024, more disruptive behavior with a physical altercation, the defendant refusing to return to his cell, calling a correctional officer an ugly bitch, and then kicking his door for several minutes until, despite being told to stop. And this year, on May 21st of 2025, it was described as an unauthorized transfer of property where the defendant gave a folder to another juvenile that had fecal matter in it. These are the actions of the defendant in a confined setting, waiting for trial on the most serious charges a human being can face, and he is unable to conform his conduct to the rules, and not just small violations, but serious and significant violations.
Prosecutor argues, jail fights, sexual misconduct, gang signs, feces pranks, no reform. The room tightens as prosecutor exposes life-threatening conduct in jail, no empathy. Chaos erupts, brawl breaks out, 25 officers swarm, 2 arrested, hearing delays. Order restores, sentencing hangs like a blade. December 19th, 2025, Judge Laura Lavey speaks, acknowledges youth, but seriousness demands it.
Multiple people were put at risk of losing their life or otherwise being seriously injured. Attorney Tony referenced, I think for the first time today, the little boy. Don't know how old he is, looks maybe 5 or 6. Takes his little scooter, he's just out, looks like having a good time. As he's riding that scooter, he rides it directly under the shooting from Mr. Johnston and Mr. Larry. There's a lot of talk of people becoming products of their environment. That little boy should not have to grow up thinking that type of behavior, that risk, these circumstances are in any way, shape, or form normal, because they're not. There aren't any charges as it relates to that little boy. I bring it up because it shows the seriousness of what took place here. It also shows quite clearly the concern for public safety that accompanies these charges that this court has. All right, I'm going to start diving in as it relates to the court sentence. And as to count 9, the court is going to order life imprisonment without the possibility of extended supervision. And that will run the other counts that the court identified consecutive to each other. All of them will run concurrent to count 9. In looking at the character of Mr. Johnston, I'll start by acknowledging that he too is incredibly young. 17 at the time, 19 now. He has not, I believe, have any prior criminal history, no prior juvenile history. Certainly that speaks to his favor. What doesn't are the conduct reports that Attorney Tony had referenced that are referenced in the PSI. One references that he was throwing fist strikes with a closed fist to the other inmate's face and head area, continued fighting the other person at least 12 times. Then from February of this year, getting into a fight again, striking another inmate at least 11 times with a closed fist. It states he then dragged them under the staircase and again attacked them, hitting in the head with a closed fist at least 5 times. Another reference from May 12th of this year. What started, it seems, as exchanging words, it says, with another inmate. It says he then struck the other inmate in the head with a closed fist. Now, a lot has been talked about from both parties here as it relates to Mr. Johnston's character and his taking responsibility in this case. I give him credit for that. Absolutely. He entered guilty pleas acknowledging that behavior, which meant a trial did not need to happen. So as far as manning up and owning one's behavior, I do give you credit for that, Mr. Johnston. It's not often that this court sees that. What credit can't do, what taking responsibility can't provide, is taking it all away. We can't turn back time, right? We can't bring Ms. Zeck back. We can't take the bullet out of Javier's back. We can't take away the injuries that Keyshawn has suffered. Those are things that the victims and their families will need to continue to deal with day in and day out for the rest of their lives. And you will need to deal with your understanding and your role in these circumstances day in and day out for the rest of your life. I don't envy either of those positions, but I too have a very important role in these circumstances, and the decision that this court makes is one that I do not take lightly. It is one that I will live with day in and day out for the rest of my life. I take my role seriously, and the sentence that the court imposes is one that I do not make lightly. I make considering all of these facts and circumstances, weighing those as I must through the light of those galleon factors to provide as best I can a just sentence. As it relates to count 1, the court is going to order life imprisonment without the possibility of extended supervision.
The gavel echoes like thunder. Life without parole for Larry, now 16, and Johnston, now 19, overriding cooperation leniency. No 2026 updates, both in Wisconsin prisons, appeals unlikely. Tatyanna's legacy, a family's endless void. Teens' pleas, drowned in justice's tide. Young and guilty, petty feuds to eternal bars. Comment, fair for teens or too harsh? Like, subscribe, bell on. Next case soon. Stay guilty of curiosity.